Alright, hey guys, what's up? Anthony Winkleman here. Just got back from the 2020 first KBF Pro Tour Event of the year down the Clermont Chain of lakes, with a few additional lakes that were added in there last minute. As you can see, I did pretty good. Big shout out to DZ Truck Accessories and Real Tree Fishing for kind of presenting the event, along with some of these other sponsors of the event, Fish USA, Power Pole, and Yak Tech, and a few others there, as you can see. Just wanted to kind of tell you the baits I used. There was only this should be a pretty quick video. I only used 2 complete baits for the whole time, and then I have 1 extra bait that caught my biggest personal bass. But like, I also want to give some shout outs to everybody for your guys' support while I was gone. You telling me to keep going. To the missus and the kiddo at home, the love that they outpoured while I was gone, because it's hard being away from family and competing in these tournaments and whatnot. So this year we're really giving a good run at the Pro Tour. I've never really had a chance to fish a lot of the live events, and I figured just go all out with a big bang and try to get as many of them as we can. Hopefully we can get them all, and get to that Pro Tour championship, along with the Southeast Regional Trail. So we'll see how it goes, but I want to kick it off going with talking about my first official sponsor for the season, the Juicebox Pro by wildernesstek guys. Go check them out, wildernesstek.com. You guys can't quite get these just yet. They did the Kickstarter, and a lot of people got these for a really good deal, and they're working on getting all those out to everybody right now. A few things different with mine than what you guys will get is like mine has some toggle switch buttons. Your guys will be push buttons. They just got me a product out to me as quick as possible so I can use it and get you guys some feedback before you get it. So go check these guys out. It's an amazing product. You have like 4 different ways of charging. Well, 3 different ways of charging, 4 different plugs. Like, you got your standard like cigarette lighter style, which is pretty useful. You could probably put some more USB plugs on this using this. Just know that like this can run a GoPro for 40 plus hours. Charge a cell phone 14 times. So if you add like a double USB plug here and you run, you turn this into a double plug, like I've thought about doing, just know you're going to pull more power than expected. So so if you run 2 GoPros, you're looking at 20 hours, or a few more, and if you're pulling more power with a fish finder, things like that, good things to take into consideration. I know it can, like a small fish finder, if you guys have like a 5-inch, I use a lot of Lowrance, so I'm going to refer to them, but if you use a lot of like the 5-inch Elite, the stuff that has a okay screen resolution, doesn't pull as much power, not like the side scan and all that stuff, or you like the Hook series, those pull small power, so you can use this for like up to 70 hours. Once you start getting up into that 7, 9 and bigger range, where it's pulling a lot more power, you're looking at about 13 hours of battery use out of this. So still a phenomenal amount of time. That's like 2 days of tournament fishing of solid, consistently using your graph, consistently using like that side imaging and all that. So I mean, this is a lot of power. It's only 3.5 pounds. So compared to like there's a 5-6 pound lead battery that I have that lasts me just a single day of use whenever I'm just running my fish finder on it, this blows it out of the water, double to none. So like I said, it's got 2 USB ports right here. You got a fun little thing that it does is when you flip it on, it'll tell you how many volts you have when you have nothing plugged into it. The more you plug in, of course it's going to read a little less because it's pulling more power, but it's a good way of seeing where your battery's at. I used this for 3 consecutive days. I still haven't charged it. We're going on almost a week since I've got it and started using it on those 3 days. We have 13.2 volts left. I ran GoPro on this for all 3 days. I was terrible about pushing record, so of course I didn't get as much footage as I wanted to, but and I charged my phone about 4 times, and I used my fish finder on it for the last day of the tournament when I had extra time then in between the days, and I still have 13.2 volts left, so 50% battery by the little graph that you guys will get here. So that's a lot of usage. I mean, it well lasted me the time of the tournament, so come tournament time, you know, this I shouldn't have to worry about charging any battery for this specifically. Still have to charge my trolling motor battery, but when it comes to everything else, you know, this should get the job done for the whole course of the tournament. You also have an SAE plug. This is how you charge it, and it's actually, so you guys are probably, you know, if you've seen this and maybe questioning, I worry about the SAE plugs because those things, or just the connectors, like the male-female connectors that you buy at Walmart or any auto store, any marine type thing. Those things over time, they kind of wear out and they kind of go bad, and because they just, you got to really push them together to get them together. And the nice thing, the one that they used here, it's like a very smooth, there's no jamming in, there's no having to work hard to pull it out at all. It goes in smoothly, and like it's going to last a long time. So another quick fun little tip about these are all double sealed. They put an extra seal whenever they get them in from the manufacturer, and the boards inside are also water sealed, and I believe that the guys told me that the battery is too. So if you crack this and it went into the water or got rained on and took on water, and there was water inside, sloshed it around, there's water inside, this thing should still function and keep functioning without any issue. To my knowledge, these things come with a 2-year warranty on them as well, and so I mean, it's a good little warranty, and this is all you have to buy. That's the nice thing about these, is this is purely it right here. I know the guys that got the Kickstarter, it gets a neoprene case and it comes with it, and of course your charger and stuff. But you know, and I'm sure that ones that, you know, you guys will be purchasing will also have a neoprene case, but I don't know if those will be additional cost or not. I'm going to have a discount code for you guys that are interested in this that haven't got one yet, but this is it. I mean, your traditional other lithium battery companies that are out there for kayaks right now charge you for the battery, and then sometimes you got to buy like the box, you know, if you want to have all the plugs that you don't have to rig stuff up yourself. So this is nice. I mean, 3.6 pounds, small. I'm trying to think dimensions. I think this was roughly 6 across, maybe, or well, it's a little, maybe a little more than 6 across, but like a little over 4 inches tall or 4 inches wide, and I mean, it's very small, very compact. So good for you guys that don't have a lot of room. All right, moving on. Enough rambling there. Go check them out, wildernesstek.com. I'll have a link down below. Onto the baits. So baits I used were simple. Spinning rods from 6 Cents, Lux rods. I love their rods. Got to go check those out. If you're looking for your mid to high level, entry level rods, like you always buy those rods that, you know, from, well, Academy's got good ones, but you're always buying those rods that are like right there where you're like, these are good rods, but I just want that one step closer. 6 Cents Lux rods, man, they really are very sensitive. They're nice, which of course they got multiple different ones, but they're right there where they're at that entry level of a good quality rod. So these are like 7.2 spinning rods that I was using, so they were more than stout enough and big enough to really kind of get a good hook set and fight these big fish that I was catching down there. And first bait going to it, caught the most fish on it, was the drop shot. 3/16 ounce round ball. Down there, these fish didn't care about braid. I could have threw straight braid at them, but I really wanted to make sure I wasn't taking a risk with any of the finicky fish. So I did a 12-pound leader, so that way in case some of them got tangled up in some grass and stuff, I had a better chance of not breaking off and losing them. I broke off day 2. I broke off some nice fish. I broke off one. This is how much they were on the beds, guys. Broke off day 1, retied, I power pulled down, have a little micro anchor, power pulled down, retied, cast back out there, same exact setup, same exact bait, caught the fish that broke me off. It's like a 17-incher, almost 17-incher. Caught the fish that broke me off, and I took the hook out, and I was like, in the bait, because I nose hook it like this, it keeps the baits on a little better. Took the bait out, and I was like, oh, I guess my soft plastic fell down in there, and I looked, and there it is. It was the same exact fish from the same exact bed, because I cast to it. It's about 6 feet deep, and because we had about 6 foot visibility, and it was the deepest I could see, and like just all white round little spot, and I popped right to it. But it was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. They were that was, I mean, that really says how that they were really moved up onto the beds good. My biggest pre-fishing bait, which moved into my big fish catching bait on day one, 23 1/4 for a new PB. It was right at 7 pounds whenever I weighed her. It's a green pumpkin with black flake and a little bit of like looks like some silver and gold, silver kind of on this side, and then blue, like a sapphire darker blue on the other side, with some silver flake for sure in there. This came from a local shop down there, Bridgemasters. I believe you can, I think their site's like bridgemaster.com or something. They sold these in bulk, like 30 to 50 in a package for like $7-8. And I bought them while I was down there because they were local. I always look for local tackle shops because they're going to have the color baits that you need for the area. So, you know, always keep that in mind whenever you go to some of these lakes and you're wondering what kind of soft plastics work. You can go find out a lot of information by local tackle shops. I Nico rigged this with a 3/16 ounce nail weight, and I side hooked my Nico, my wacky hook, and had excellent hookups. The big fish, the 23 1/4, is kind of crazy. I was rolling up. I knew there was 2 beds sitting in one spot because I seen a big female on one during practice that I didn't catch. I wanted to, but I couldn't get her to bite. I caught the buck off of it, but she wouldn't bother. I was coming back there multiple times throughout both days of the tournament. She was never on that bed, and I came from the other side this time, and all of a sudden I see a big whoosh go right past my trolling motor. I looked down wondering what that was. I just saw, figured it was a fish because, I mean, yes, there's gators, but they don't move that quick. And looked back, I see her swim off. It's a big fish. I was like, oh my. And I took one toss back at a bed that I thought was hers, and it could have been, but then I saw one just a little bit deeper further back, and I tossed back to it a second time. It took me just about 2 or 3 minutes. I have that video up. I'll put a link in, at the end here. You guys can go watch that video if you haven't. And boom, she swallowed it. I just saw the line moving, hook set, and the fight was on. I mean, it was, my legs were shaking, my excitement was real. All I could do was say, oh my gosh, big fish. So go watch that video. It's pretty exciting. I didn't get as many fish catches as I want to. I didn't get the big one for the next day for another personal best on video, and I was too excited. I didn't even think about pushing record after I caught it. So that one actually was odd. I've not done a lot of bed fishing in the past, and especially because I don't get it in a lot of clear water like that. And so I sit there and I found one bedding fish, and she just wouldn't bite the first day until the end. She started picking up stuff and moving. So I knew, I had an idea that I wanted to go catch that fish. She was a big one. So I went back the second day with about 9 different baits tied on, trailer hooks on them to try to get her in case she bit and moved. And it took me about, I had to come back twice. And the second time, I actually hooked her with a 6-inch quake. I tied this on a 17-pound copolymer and jigged it up and down a few times after she started moving baits, and she went to bite this one to move it off her bed, and I got her. And I just, because it was so much heavy cover, and I should have put it straight onto some braid, and I didn't, and that was my mistake, and I lost a big fish, which possibly could have cost me like a 4th or 3rd place finish. But it's all said and done. I still placed top 5. I'm happy with that. But next fish, whenever it came around next time, and I saw this other bedding fish, it was game over. I tied that straight onto some braid. I did the same exact thing. I threw shaky heads in there, big jigs at her, everything. Got her mad, got her annoyed. She started moving stuff off the beds, and then boom, tossed this sucker right in there. I think I had tossed it in twice. First time she sat there and started to bump it out of the way, and I think the buck almost got it. And he wasn't really biting at all, but then they both started getting mad. And so whenever I tossed this down there and thudded it a few times, it took the first time he about got it, I ripped it out of there so I wouldn't catch him, which would have been okay, but I needed her more than him. And luckily when I tossed it in the second time and thudded it right next to her, she swiped at it to move it out and get it off her bed, and hook set right in my mouth, and there, game over. So those were the real baits that I used. I didn't get anything on moving bait, and a lot of those guys were getting chatterbait bites, which I did not throw a lot of the jackhammer. I have them. I threw them a little bit in the morning before the sun came up, but as soon as that sun came up, the water would start warming up. You know, we had a cold snap the day before, and which really kind of made me worry, but it ended up paying out at the end. And you know, like I said, 5th place finish. Again, big thanks to you guys for the support you guys gave me, and make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Kind of keep along with me. The next one is at Pickwick, Wheeler, and Wilson Lake. We'll have all 3 of those to choose from. That's March 21st and 22nd. Think about fishing it. Sign up and fish it. I know more anglers, the more competition, the more exciting and fun it is. Could be a good time. Depends on how the weather trends. If it keeps warming, we can be looking at possible spawning time as well. So we could be getting some, pre and post and spawning bedding fish. So we'll see how it goes. Been doing some homework on it and getting ready for that. About a little less than a month out from that. So like I said, subscribe, and thanks for watching, guys.